Hey there. All right, so we got some really cool stuff to go over today. The main thing we're going to be talking about is project management and payments for WordPress consultants. And we're going to be talking about this from two perspectives. One, a strategical perspective, like how do you actually encourage people to give you payments, but then also a technical one, which is how do you actually collect it? Like what are some things you can do to go about actually collecting the payments from a technical perspective so everything's safe, secure, easy to manage, and all that kind of stuff. So, I've actually been traveling, so I'm back into the mix, and Friday the 13th was a funny day because, so we got Friday the 13th, I'm out of town, and I got stuck in an elevator with my family, and that was a crazy, I've never been stuck in an elevator before, full moon, Friday the 13th, so how about that, huh? So here's what we're going to be talking about. I've got an example website set up here that I'm going to share with you in just a second, and we're going to be looking at both how do you collect payments and how do you actually strategically encourage people to give you payments as well in the context of being a WordPress developer / consultant, and what can we do to streamline all that stuff. And so this is going to be a pretty cool thing. Now keep in mind that everything that I'm about to show you from a technical perspective, you can implement in a variety of ways. Like it's not, what I don't want you to think is that this is the only possible way to implement whatever, all the stuff we're about to look into, because obviously there is a wide variety of ways that you can pull all this together. The benefit of this, though, is I want you to see how you can do it with as little fuss as possible. And that's where I feel like Cart66 really comes into play. And so we're going to be looking at WordPress, Cart66, client members area, collecting payments, all of that kind of stuff in the context of Cart66, which is, I'm the founder of Cart66, so full disclosure there. But you can obviously do the exact same thing with a variety of other plugins in WooCommerce and whatever else. But this is super duper simple, and if nothing else, then I think you'll be able to take away some really cool concepts for just how to streamline your workflow, like with whatever tools that you feel comfortable with. And if you want to use Cart66, then go ahead and do that, because it's free to try, and I'm happy to help you get things set up if you want to do that. So anyway, so here's what we're going to do. So we're going to go through like 4 basic things. The first thing is like, how do you get a deposit from a client during the first meeting? The second thing will be is how, and maybe even why, you should set up like a private page on your website that's only available to your client. So you can do, communicate back and forth. You have like a nice central hub without having to like buy another service, or it's obviously very lightweight. It's not like you're replacing Basecamp or something with WordPress. But sometimes you don't even need something quite as complex as Basecamp when you're dealing with like a project with a client. Maybe they don't want to log in and do all the stuff that you can do in Basecamp, and just a simple private page on your site will be enough. So we'll talk about that. And then once we have that set up, we'll take a look at how to share project milestones and even how to collect payments at certain specific milestones before you move forward. And then the last thing we'll look at is setting up, being able to collect payments for invoices, even if they're recurring. Like, so one-time invoice is great, launch the site, boom, get paid. But what about like marketing packages or hosting or anything that would involve an ongoing payment? We'll look at how to set that up too. So let's go ahead and jump right into it, and we'll take a look at how all this stuff works. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and we'll take a look at this demo site here that I set up. So this is just a demonstration site. It's not the real thing or anything. It's not a live client site, but it's an example of what I think a really good website would look like for a WordPress consultant who wants to work with in this case, portrait photographers. And so right off the bat, this is an example of how to go about describing your services without listing a ton of technical things that are going on, by putting a really strong emphasis on the client themselves and like what you can do for them. And so like right off the bat, it's like lights, camera, attraction. It's like, that's a phrase that kind of resonates with photographers, and but yet it's a tweaked, it's not lights, camera, action, it's attraction, which sounds like action. So it's just the kind of thing that will get in people's heads, and I think it's a pretty cool thing to kind of start off with. And then of course you have the tagline of business development for portrait photographers. And for anyone curious, I'm using the Make theme with the Make Plus Pro plugin, which is super simple setup, but also really powerful. I mean, I've spun up this site in like 30 minutes. It was really, really quick. And of course, Elementor, Beaver Builder, or whatever, use that if you want to, but I just want to let you know what theme and stuff that I'm using for this. And then you get into how portrait photographers are earning six figures without wasting time and money on old school social media marketing while everyone else keeps posting and praying on Facebook and Instagram. And so the idea there is, rather than saying I build websites, I do social media management, I do email marketing, I do whatever, go ahead and just, tell people what you can deliver to them. And then, have this little link here and, people can discover the secret and figure out, what the deal is all about. Now, I didn't create all the different pages. I only created the home page and a couple of other pages we'll be looking at today. But the point is, I wanted to show you this as an example of just a way to talk about your services without having to talk about the technical details. And another big thing that I find that a lot of people leave off surprisingly regularly, is something about themselves. Like, who are you? Like, who is your client going to be working with? And just say who you are on your site. And then go ahead and kind of, put something kind of compelling. But don't make it seem like an accident that you just became a WordPress developer or an online business consultant. I find that too often it's the case that people will get on there and say, I had some other job doing some other random thing, and then a friend of mine needed a website, and so I built one for them, and the next thing I knew, I liked it, and so Shazam, here I am trying to build websites for other people. Don't say something like that, and instead say something about how your unique perspective is going to be beneficial to the types of clients you're looking for. And then go ahead and start collecting email addresses. Like, make sure there's a way for people to actually get into the mix with with you and your contacts and all that other stuff. Maybe it's, weekly workshops like we do here on Facebook, or maybe you have an email list, or, whatever it might be. Go ahead and make sure that you're collecting email addresses. And so this is a really cool page structure for a homepage for someone who feels like they can do a great job building websites for photographers. And, right off the bat, you have a catchy tagline. It's very clear that you're doing business development for portrait photographers. So it's a very specific group that you're going after. And then you're giving them something that they want. It's like, what photographer doesn't want to earn six figures? And what photographer doesn't feel like they're just posting and praying on Facebook and Instagram for clients? Like, most of the time people feel that way. And then you come along and say, hey, I've got all of these other cool things that you can be doing. Let's talk about it. And then you can describe some of the details of how all that works and so forth. And the next thing you know, you've got a bunch of clients rolling in for portrait photography. So then the next question becomes, well, how do we actually start collecting payments from the client when you're meeting with them? So obviously, the idea behind all of this is you don't want to have one of those discovery session meetings where you meet with the client, then you go back and write a proposal based on all those requirements that you gathered, and then you send the proposal to them, and then you wait for an undisclosed amount of time to try to figure out what to do, and then kind of wait for people to come back and figure out how to pay you. But instead, wouldn't it be great if there was a way to get all of that kind of going right from the get-go? So I want to show you how you can actually start collecting payments from your clients while you're there with them. So let's go back and take a quick look at that. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up a product in Cart66 for the deposit. And then I'll show you how to set up a really cool little link cloaking thing to make it really easy to just tell them what the link is to make the deposit. So let's go and jump in and take a look at that. So if you go over into your Cart66 account, I'm looking at the settings page now. Let me hop over to products. This is a demonstration account, so these aren't real products online or anything. But I went ahead and I created this project deposit product. And there's a couple of neat things about the way I set it up. So first of all, it's $2,500. So it'd be like, say you're selling a $5,000 project and you want to collect 50% up front, maybe 50% when you launch. Well, then go ahead and just create a product that's half the price, the 50% price or whatever. And so that'd be $2,500 here, and then give it a SKU. And so I gave it the SKU of deposit. And you'll see why in just a second. But the other thing that I did was I set it up as a membership product. Of the lifetime variety, meaning that once you buy it, you're now a member for life. So it doesn't expire after time or anything like that. You could have set it up like, for example, there's other ways to set up memberships. You can do 1-year memberships, 1-month memberships, or a custom membership. And basically the idea behind a membership product is the fact that you can sell a product when somebody buys it. they now can have access to content for a certain period of time. And in this case, it's basically membership to a private page on your website. And the end client doesn't need to know anything about that, but just when you're setting it up, you set it up as a membership product. And then I set it up as lifetime, so it doesn't expire. So they always have access to their private page. There's no time limit or anything. And those were the only other fancy things that I kind of put on here. I didn't add any custom fields or anything like that. And so it's just like a normal product, but it's a membership with a lifetime time period associated with it. And you can kind of see that here in the in this little description. And then what you do, so now you've got a $2,500 product. That's 50% of your project fee. So that's what you want to collect with the deposit. And you set it up to be a lifetime membership product. So then go over here and generate a buy now link. And so what you're going to do is you're going to get a link that looks kind of like this. And it's going to be in the format of whatever your subdomain is. So like whatever your business name is, .cart66.com/buy/deposit. And deposit is the SKU. So the reason I made the SKU the word deposit is so that you have this really nice clean link here. So it's very easy to say and remember and to type and all that other stuff. So you can go ahead. So one option is to simply say, like if your site was, my site or whatever was the name of your subdomain, you would just say, hey, just go to mysite.cart66.com/buy/deposit, and boom, you've got a deposit, and it pulls up the checkout form. But even better than that, if you want to go a little bit further, then go ahead and copy that link, and then head over into your WordPress site. And let me dive into there real quick and show you what we can do. So go into the dashboard here and zing on down to installed this plugin called Pretty Links. I think actually the name of the plugin is Short Links by Pretty Links, but it's there's a bunch of other plugins that can do this. But the idea is you can make a link on your own domain, so you don't even have to talk about Cart66 at all. You can just go to mysite.com/deposit, and shazam, there you go. And so to create a link like this, let me click edit here so you can see what it looks like. But basically all you do is you take that buy now link that you got from Cart66, stick it in there as your target URL, and then for the pretty link part of it, just call it /deposit. Or if you have different projects going on at the same time, it could be like /client name, like whatever your client's name is. You could make a custom link just for them, so that when you're on the phone or when you're in the meeting or whatever, like when it's time to actually get going, rather than waiting on them to like send you a check or anything like that, you can just, hey, just go to my website.com/deposit. And then what you see, let me show you what you see when you get there. So suppose that you actually went to that link. Let me show you what that looks like. So let's see, what's the best way to go about that? I'm just going to write the word deposit right here. And so when you click on that, then boom, you're immediately on the checkout page. So you'll notice a couple of interesting things about this. One thing is you're not on the view cart page. You're on the actual checkout page. Another thing that you'll notice about this page is it looks exactly like a page from the rest of the website. So for example, you got the same header, you got the same navigation, the same colors. It literally, the way that we skin these pages, you get this custom checkout page that looks exactly like the rest of your WordPress site, because we have this thing called page slurp, where we literally slurp up all the assets from your WordPress theme. So we're basically cloning your WordPress theme into this PCI compliant secure environment, so that when you take payments, it's all good to go. Like everything's secure, so you don't have to worry about that. Theoretically, you don't even need an SSL certificate, although you should have one for other reasons. But it's all secure, and it looks exactly like the rest of your site. So it's a really nice situation. And you're going straight to the payment page. So yoursite.com/deposit, boom, you're on this payment page. And now your client can fill out their contact information. And what they're doing is they're buying that lifetime membership product that you set up as 50% down payment on the project. And then when they get down to the payment methods, you can do a couple of things. You can have multiple payment methods all on the same page at the same time. Now I'm actually logged in as the client, because it's welcoming me as me. But if I wasn't logged in, then I wouldn't see the saved credit card. So one of the things that's really nice about having this hosted checkout experience is you can save credit cards. So once your client makes the deposit, if when you go to collect another payment, they don't have to fill out all their information again. They can just reuse the information that they had from before. And that's a really cool feature. They could also enter in a new card. They can pay with PayPal, and you can even set up this pay later feature where if somebody selects that, they can actually complete the checkout process without actually paying by way of credit card or PayPal, and then they can just write you a check. Like if you're in person and you still wanted them to go through this process so that they had their account with you, so that they can get to the private membership page, you could just have them click this pay later button. And then rather than having to enter in credit card or billing information, they could just hand you a check, like if you're meeting in person, or if they just wanted to mail you a check. And so then you get the the total and all that stuff. And another thing that you can do is you can have terms and conditions. So if you want somebody to agree to a certain whatever your terms and conditions are, you can put that in there so that they actually have to agree to it before they can place their order. So that's a really cool thing about that. And so what I did is I actually filled everything out as myself with this demo Cart66 information. And so now what we've done is if I were the client and my name was Lee and my email address is demo@Cart66 and I completed this page, then what I would have done is I first of all would have paid you for my deposit, and then you would begin working on my stuff. And that actually kicks off access to this private client page. So let me show you what all that's about, because the neat thing here, I'm going to go ahead and sign out so you can see what it looks like when you sign in. So I'll show you how it's set up first, and then I'll show you how it works. So if you go into the Cart66, to the WordPress admin dashboard, and go into Cart66 settings, and actually it's not that, it's clients. You go into clients and click all clients. This is a tab that gets set up when you install the Cart66 members add-on. So there's two total Cart66 plugins. In fact, I'll show you real quick what all that's about. So there's Cart66 Cloud, which is like the core of all of it. And then there's Cart66 Cloud Members, which is if you want to do a membership page like this, or you want to sell access to content on your site, or restrict content in some way, like you want to do an online course or something, then you can optionally install this free add-on for the membership functionality. And since we are setting up a client page, which is this guy right here, that comes courtesy of the Cart66 Cloud Members plugin there. So Cart66 has a maximum of 2 plugins. And then what you can do is you can click on all clients and then just go in there and add a new client, give it a name of whoever the client is. In this case, it was me. Just give it my own name. And then the big thing here, the way that this works is just put your client's email address right over there on the side. So they don't have to have like a different password or any of that other stuff. They also don't have a WordPress user account. So you don't have to worry about shutting down access to all the WordPress admin once they log in and everything. And again, obviously you could do it that way if you wanted, but this is a really simple way where all of these clients are just clients. You have their e-commerce profile, but they don't need access to your WordPress site for any reason. So wouldn't it be nice not to have to close down WordPress or whatever with special user roles and all that stuff? So just go ahead and type in their email address there, and that will be the link between their account and then their private page. And then go ahead and just set up a page. So I'll show you what this looks like. So if you go into, I'm just going to visit the site here. And so, for example, either after the client made a purchase or just some other time, they just click the sign-in link, and then they're on a sign-in page that, again, looks exactly like your site. And then you just type in the email address and the password that they set up when they purchased that down payment or that deposit. And after they signed in, now they're on that private page. So this is the private Lee Blue page, or whatever your client name page is there. And then what you can do on this page, so you can use this page as like a portal or a hub for managing the project. And one way that I found that was really effective at doing that is just set up this like accordion thing for what to expect on each week or whatever. So like maybe week 1, you're going to develop a logo, you're going to write copy for the home page and create copy for a special landing page, something like that. And then and another thing that you can do here is you can even mark which particular items are for you versus for them. So like if you have certain responsibilities and they have certain responsibilities, you could actually set this up into like a 2-column layout, or at least just tag, me versus you kind of stuff with each item in this checklist here. And so you get through week 1, then you go into week 2, and maybe during week 2 you connect some email marketing platform, I don't know, MailChimp, MadMimi, MailerLite, whatever. Maybe you develop a drip campaign and create some lead magnets to kind of get people to give you their email address. And once you get there, now you're through week 2, And then you get into week 3 and you design a Facebook page and Twitter. So you're working on social media, maybe a YouTube channel with making sure branding is all consistent there. But then you've got this. And so in order to move on to the next phase of the project, this could be either launching the site or another milestone, or just whenever you're ready to collect another payment, just stick a payment button right there and have somebody, click that. And that denotes, okay, once we get here, now it's going to be time for another payment before we move forwards. And this is not necessarily the launch point. It could be, okay, now we're going to launch the site. So before we launch the site, you need to collect payment. You could put that there. But it could also be, if it's a really large project and you have multiple milestones and you could collect, a couple of different payments before launch, it could be that. And so that's super easy to add. It's just what you do is I'll show you how this works. The idea here is a different kind of thing. So I'm going to click this. And so now somebody's going to you're going to collect payment for that. And so you would just say, hey, type in whatever the invoice number is, it's 1209, and, maybe it's the launch, you're going to launch the site now. So it's the other $2,500 or whatever. So you type in the amount, and then when you proceed to make that payment, then what happens is you're back again on the checkout page, but this time you've got the invoice payment and the invoice number. So like you on the backside can tie together the payments versus the invoices, because there it is. They could then enter in whatever amount it was for. You don't have to create a new product every single time, and they're already logged in. So they can go in here and just use their credit card information from before to make the payment. So it's super easy and simple. It's a really nice, clean client experience. It's fast. And you now have collected the payment, and you can move on to the next phase of the project, or launch the site, or do whatever you would like. So that's a really cool thing to do. And the way that this product works is a little bit different from the one before. So let me show you how this one works. So this is an invoice payment product, which I created here as an example. And the interesting thing about this is I set the price to $0, but what I did is I went over here to open pricing. And another thing I did is I changed the button text. So rather than like add to cart or buy now or something like that, I changed it to proceed to secure payment, which is why when we were looking at the button before, it said proceed to secure payment. So anyway, so there's that. And the other thing I did is I went over here to open pricing. And what I did with open pricing is I turned it on, meaning that what open pricing does is the user can define how much they want to pay. And if I wanted to, I could have set a minimum or a maximum price for that and say you have to pay at least a certain amount, or you can't pay more than whatever. But for this context, where people are just paying their invoice, you just have them type in what they owe, and there's really no reason to kind of restrict the min or the max price. You just say, just pay what you owe, and pay what's on the invoice, and they do. And then you're good to go. So you can just reuse this product over and over to collect payments at any time. So that's really cool. And that's how that works. So then the last thing that I was going to mention about all of this is, in addition to these individual milestone payments, you could also have somebody pay for hosting, or pay for like when after you launch the site and you move into the point where you're now using the tools that you set up, you're using the marketing platform that you just created, and you want somebody to subscribe to that, like on a month-to-month basis. Then what you can do is you can just go in here and create another product, and instead of having it be a one-time payment product, go in there and like make it a subscription of some sort. Like go over and click on the subscription button and turn on, this is a membership product. So you can't have it be a membership and a subscription at the same time. So I could turn that off, go over to subscriptions, and then say, maybe we're going to make a monthly subscription, and then boom, there it is. It's $10 a month or whatever for, whatever you'd probably charge, $1,000 a month or whatever instead of $10. But the point is, make a subscription payment that people can click the button, sign up, and now you're getting paid every single month, and you don't have to send invoices. It's regular recurring payments. It's awesome. It's a great client experience. And they have access to their own billing information, their own customer portal, which I can show you later on. But the point is, you don't have to go in there and do anything. Like anytime anybody wants to go in there and like update their payment information or whatever, they can do that. And they have this nice secure customer portal to see all their past history and all the previous payments and all that kind of stuff. So that's what I wanted to show everybody today, just quick as I could, just a quick 25-minute run through of all that. And we talked about how to get the deposit, how to do the private page, and how to set it all up so you can have milestones and use that for project management, paying invoices, one time or recurring. And it's super duper simple, quick and easy. Like I don't know of any other way to do it this fast. But obviously there are a bunch of different ways to kind of create the similar functionality in WordPress. It's obviously we don't have a corner on the market when it comes to being able to do these things. It's just so easy. It's just like you don't have to do anything. It's all just sitting right there built in for you. And it's a really nice experience for you as the developer, but also a really nice experience for the client too, with all that saved payment information and project milestones, and you don't have to fuss around with, locking down WordPress user accounts and all that kind of stuff. And it's all just sitting right there ready to roll. So this is a pattern that you can use for both project management, payments, streamlining your workflow, stabilizing your cash flow, all while giving your clients a really slick customer experience. So if that sounds cool to you, check it out. Cart66 is free to try for 14 days. You can go over to cart66.com and get signed up for a free account and kind of explore with all of this stuff. If you need any help getting set up, then I can probably help you with that. Or if not me, one of the other guys on the support team can kind of show you around, set up a demo product for you to kind of fiddle with, and answer any questions you have. Because it is a little bit of a different situation. There's like the cloud environment as well as the WordPress environment. So you're working in two different spaces, which is a little bit of a different mindset than something like WooCommerce, where it's all contained within WordPress. But you also get really strong benefits from that in the sense that, you're just kind of adding on all these secure connected services while still using WordPress for all your content management. So if you want to talk about that, have any questions about it, want to try it out, head over to cart66.com and give it a look. And yeah, just leave a comment here and let me know if you felt like this was a helpful session. If you did, then we can do more of them. If you, for whatever reason, it wasn't up your alley and you didn't feel like it was very helpful, let me know that too. And so, I won't do any more of them. So, anyway, that's what we got. And, looking forward to see you guys next Tuesday when we talk more about business development. So what I was thinking we probably would do is keep our Tuesdays all about business development, and then maybe our Thursdays we could talk more about e-commerce and other types of things as well. So let me know if that's good for you. If so, I'll see you next Tuesday. Awesome, guys. Take care. High five for the weekend. Boop.